Hello, everyone. I got 5 dirty jokes for you today. A woman named Mary decided to join a golf club. One day, when she overheard a group of guys discussing their golf game, she chimed in, "I used to play golf for my college team and was actually quite good at it. Do you mind if I join you guys next week?" None of the guys wanted to say yes, but they felt cornered. Eventually, one of the men said, "All right, but we start really early, at 6:30 in the morning." He thought that this early starting time would dissuade her. Mary mentioned that this could potentially be a problem and asked if it would be okay if she was up to 15 minutes late sometimes. Rolling their eyes, they agreed, fine. To their surprise, Mary showed up right on the dot at 6:30 a.m. and played an impressive game, beating all of them with a 2-under par round. She was also fun and friendly, and the guys ended up being impressed. They congratulated her and invited her back the following week. She happily accepted, saying, "I'll be there at 6:30 or maybe 6:45. The next week, she again arrived at exactly 6:30 a.m. This time, however, she played the entire game left-handed. The 3 men were absolutely stunned as she once again managed to beat them, even while playing with her non-dominant hand. They were completely blown away and couldn't understand how she did it. Despite their defeat, Mary was such a good sport and such a gracious winner that they couldn't help but invite her back again. The third week, Mary showed up 15 minutes late, which slightly irritated the guys. This week, she played right-handed and managed to beat all 3 of them. The men grumbled about her late arrival, thinking it was a strategic move on her part. Yet, she was so charming and full of praise for their efforts that they couldn't stay annoyed at her. Mary was a puzzle that none of them could solve. After a few drinks at the clubhouse, one of the men asked her, "How do you choose whether to play golf right-handed or left-handed?" Mary blushed and smiled widely. "My dad taught me to play golf, and I found out I can use both hands equally well," she replied. "I like to change it up sometimes. After I got married, I discovered that my husband likes to sleep without any clothes on. So I started a funny routine. Right before I leave in the morning to practice golf, I remove the blanket from him. If his private part is pointing to the right, I play right-handed. If it points to the left, I play left-handed." The men burst out laughing, finding her answer hilarious. One of the guys curiously asked, "And what if it's pointing straight up?" Without missing a beat, Mary said, "Then I'm 15 minutes late." Fred had been working in the high-pressure world of alcohol sales for a long, long time, 25 years to be precise. Eventually, he had enough of the constant stress and strain. He decided to quit his job and bought a large piece of land, about 50 acres, in the remote wilderness of Alaska, as far away from people and the hustle and bustle of city life as he could get. The postman would visit him once every week, and he'd venture out to get groceries once a month. Other than that, he was living a life of tranquility and absolute quiet. After living in this serene solitude for about 6 months, one day, he heard a knock on his door. Surprised, he opened the door to see a massive, burly man with a bushy beard standing there. "Hello there, name's Bob, your neighbor from about 40 miles up the trail. I'm having a Christmas gathering at my place this Friday night. I thought you might want to join us. We're starting around 5 p.m. "Fantastic," replies Fred. "After half a year out here in solitude, I'd love to meet some locals. Thank you for the invite." As Bob starts to leave, he pauses. "Just thought I should let you know. There's likely going to be some drinking." "That's no issue at all," Fred says. "After spending 25 years in the alcohol business, I can certainly hold my own." Once again, the giant man starts to walk away but stops one more time. "There might also be some fighting too, just so you know." "Well, I generally get on well with others. I should be fine. I'll be there. Thanks again for inviting me," assures Fred. "There's a chance for some wild sex too," Bob adds. Fred perks up at this. "Well, that's really no issue at all. I've been completely alone for 6 months. I'll most definitely be there." Fred then asks, "What should I wear for the occasion?" Bob grins and says, "It doesn't really matter. It's just going to be you and me. A very calm, polite, and respected woman walked into the local drugstore, walked straight up to the pharmacist, looked him directly in the eyes, and said, "I want to buy some cyanide." Surprised, the pharmacist questioned, "What on earth do you need cyanide for?" The woman calmly replied, "I need it to poison my husband." The pharmacist's eyes widened in shock, and he exclaimed, "My goodness, I cannot provide you with cyanide to poison your husband. That's against the law. I would lose my license to practice. We would both end up in jail. Terrible things would befall us. Absolutely not. There's no way you can have cyanide." The woman calmly reached into her handbag and pulled out a photo of her husband in bed with the pharmacist's wife. The pharmacist took one look at the picture and responded, "Well, that changes the situation. You didn't mention that you had a prescription." A truck driver found enjoyment by purposely running over lawyers as they strolled down the side of the road. Every time he spotted a lawyer walking alongside the road, he would intentionally swerve to strike him. There would always be a loud thud noise, and then he would smoothly swerve back onto the road. One day as the truck driver was driving, he noticed a priest hitchhiking. He decided to pull over and ask the priest, "Where are you going, Father?" The priest informed him that he was making his way to his church located a few miles up the road. "I'll give you a lift," the truck driver kindly offered. Grateful, the priest climbed into the passenger seat, and the truck driver continued his journey down the road. Suddenly, the truck driver spotted a lawyer taking a walk down the road and by reflex swerved to hit him. But at the last second, he remembered he had a priest in his truck and managed to swerve back onto the road in time. Even though he was certain he had missed the lawyer, he still heard a loud thud sound. Confused about where the sound came from, he looked in his mirrors. Seeing nothing unusual, he turned to the priest and said, "I'm sorry, Father. I nearly hit a lawyer." The priest replied with a smile, "That's perfectly fine, my son. I got him with the door." A frustrated wife was constantly irritated about her husband devoting all his leisure time at the local pub. So one particular night, he decided to bring her along with him. "What would you like to drink?" he inquired. "Oh, I'm not certain. Maybe the same as what you're having, I suppose," she answered, a bit hesitantly. Therefore, the husband requested a few pints of beer and swiftly gulped his down in one quick shot. His wife watched him, then took a tiny sip from her glass and instantly spat it out. "Yuck, that's absolutely horrible," she sputtered. "I really don't comprehend how you can drink this dreadful stuff." "Well, there you have it," the husband exclaimed. "And you've been under the impression that I'm out here having the time of my life every night."